And so we breathe. We take a really deep breath. We feel it opening our lungs, and we allow it also to open our hearts and our minds. As we exhale, we just allow that to be a release. What's pent up in here? What's keeping us from being alive in the present moment and in the presence of God awareness? What's got a hold of our thoughts? What's balling up our fists? Let's feel inside for those things for just a moment as we continue to take a deep breath if we feel we need it. If we notice there's something in there that we're feeling upset or unsure or worried or afraid of, we give it another deep breath. We move it in and through the awareness of the Spirit of God within us. We remember, even in the turmoil, even in the falling, even in the fear, God is already there. There is no spot where God is not. When we see an outpicturing of something that troubles us, we acknowledge that it is happening. We acknowledge what we are feeling, and then we bathe it in the love and light of God. We wrap it in a blanket of loving prayer. We allow ourselves to know that the world of the senses is fleeting, that things come and go and change, and that underneath it all, behind it all, in back of it all, and within it all is the presence of God. We choose our focus in this moment. We work to choose our focus in every moment. We make it our goal to keep that awareness of God, that presence of God, forefront. Whatever we might call it, source, creator, divine illumination, universal law. We trust the process, the unfolding and the unveiling, the layers being wrapped away from the onion. As each layer gets peeled away, we know that underneath is God. We take just a moment now to feel inside for where that seat of loving, giving God energy is inside of us. And then we just go there for a minute. We see that loving, giving, luminous energy of God growing inside. We feel it expanding in our awareness. We feel it permeating every soul of, or every cell of our body. Every movement of thought. We feel it inspiring our actions from this point forward. We allow that love to just overflow. Too big for our bodies to contain, spilling over into this space. Envisioning it just radiating outward, blanketing the floor, moving into the air. Just bringing that love awareness to every single atom in this space. Then we feel that moving out through the walls. We're just blasting it out for everyone today, everyone who needs it. Sending that love, that light, that strength, that guidance, that protection. Just sending it out, blasting it out as far as we possibly can. feeling it blanket everyone in our community, everyone in our country, everyone across the oceans, wrapping our world in a loving, living, growing, evolving blanket of prayer energy. Watching divisions fall away, seeing fears relax, seeing courage and strength and the bravery to be kind and generous and loving, growing and expanding. We're just going to let that grow for a moment. Love and light and strength and courage, kindness, compassion, empathy, love of God. We let it grow in the silence. And with another breath, we allow it to settle, knowing that that love lasts. The light is always present, knowing that God is the source, the creative energy, the loving flow that lives us all into being. We know that that flow always comes to the good. We hold that truth in our hearts. And we say, thank you, thank you, thank you, God. And so it is. And I want to apologize for crying. I have no idea why I'm doing this, and I'm not gonna. There's so much hurt right now in our world. There's so much swirling that is fear-inducing and that makes us want to just curl up into a ball and say, enough already. I don't want any more of this. I don't want things to hurt. I don't want things to be scary. I don't want things to not be wonderful and lovely and feel like they're bathed in God in a way that I can feel it and easily know it. This morning, from the time I've gotten up this morning, I have had emergency texts from 6 o'clock this morning. From the time I walked through the doors, there have been people in our congregation that are in crisis. We have had the opportunity this morning, just in this little tiny container of a place, in this big, vast world, just in this little container of a Trish space, all 5 foot of me, has had the opportunity and the challenge and the call to look beyond the crisis at hand, to look beyond the fear-mongering of our press and our media and our politics and the swirl and the divisiveness and the fright and the illness. We've had the opportunity this morning, and we've risen to it, might I say, to hold one another in our hearts and in love and in godness and in knowing that even when we fall, God is in the fall. God's inside that fall. See, here's the thing. In our human experience, we really, it's almost parts of it are an unhealthy dynamic, but it's this thing, we've set up this paradigm in our world that we want the underdog to win. And that, if people are in crisis, we're going to run right to them and help them out of it. And we have set this dynamic so that I want to help. Let me help. And we've set this dynamic so long and so strong in the paradigm of our world that we manifest crisis after crisis and failure after failure so that we can go rescue, so that we can rush in and make it better. Sometimes stuff is just going to happen. Hurt is going to happen. We're going to lose people. We're going to lose jobs. We're going to move to new places. We're going to have experiences that are scary. We're going to find... I'm going to have to stand in one spot today. Poor Dave. I just go... But we've set this dynamic so tightly, and we hold it so tightly, that we keep manifesting turmoil, not just in our own lives, but collectively. We find people who speak out for or against something cut down, and some people celebrating the fact that it happened. Those people who, so I'll say it. Many people are for gun freedoms. They want everyone to have the right to bear arms. And they want gun sales and ability and availability well in place. And there are people who say, wait a minute, can we rein it in a little bit? Look at the fact that in the United States this week, in one day, we had a man addressing a group of people shot and killed in front of them. And right on the heels of that, a school shooting. There are so many of them now, you could fill a book with the amount of school shootings we've had. I remember when the first one happened and everyone was losing their minds for about a day. Not in our country. This could never happen. Surely this could not be something that would happen. And today, on the day that a single person was cut down by a gunshot, you barely heard that there was a school shooting. It's just something that happens now. The price of being American. But is it? Or is it a paradigm that we're creating because of things that we insist and conflicts we insist on having, and the way we insist on choosing sides, and the way that we insist on making much of news programming about the crisis? I remember when 24-hour news stations, I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. Why would we ever need a 24-hour news station? We've got news at certain times during the day. We'll tune in then, we'll figure out what's going on, and we'll let it go at that. Now there are a plethora of 24-hour-a-day news stations, and an addiction in our country to the adrenaline rush that comes from the conflict. I'm not speaking politically, I'm speaking spiritual movemently. The fact that We have this paradigm that we are clinging to that creates and feeds and fosters an environment of fear and conflict and division. Surely we're better than that. Haven't we fallen far enough? How many more have to fall before we decide that there has to be a balance between the freedom to have availability of guns and the security to know that not every single person is running around carrying one in your face and you might get shot? Ooh, I'm being very graphic today. I hope you can breathe with me through it. Because for a lot of people with said fear-mongering going on, I know in Florida some gun laws changed this week. And I know because I've spoken to at least 5 different people in the last 3 days. 8 different people in the last 3 days who are now afraid they're going to get shot to death in a Publix. Because when something changes and shifts, we grab onto the fear-mongering of it in our 24-hour news stations, and we fill content with more fear-mongering. We press it. I remember when we would state the story and what it was and the facts, and we would go on with our day. We would change what we could. And now, on hour 4, when we're running out of content, we're talking to so-and-so's second grade teacher's best friend's cousin's aunt who heard of someone that was a school shooter once, just so we can keep talking about it. Right? It's that thing inside of us that rubbernecks at a car accident. So can we realize that it's there? Can we know that that dynamic exists? Can we look it straight in the face and understand where it's at and put it in its place that isn't forefront? Can we say, you know what, this isn't working for me. Concentrating on the bad news 6 hours of my day isn't working for me. Now here's the line. We don't stick our head in the sand and put a happy face sticker on our television and say, it's not happening. We are practical spirituality, practical Christianity. We look at the teachings of Jesus and we seek to walk in his footsteps and bring those teachings alive today. Not Christian nationalism, not politicized Christianity, practical Christianity based on the teachings, the life, and the example of Jesus the Christ, who set this example for us to walk forward. He said it again and again. Thank you, Greg. He said it again and again and again. All these things I do, you will do, and more. We have the creative power of God within us. What are we doing with it? Day by day by day. What are we doing with it? What are we demanding of it? What are we asking of it? What are we growing with it? Thomas Edison said, I didn't fail 10,000 times trying to create the light bulb. I just found 10,000 ways it wouldn't work. But you know what? He found one that did. Because his focus was on the success, was on the creative use of the learning within him, knowing that there was something to express wonderfully and beautifully. I can't remember who it was this week, and it's so funny because I swear I've told this story so many times, I can't believe there's a human alive that hasn't heard it before. But since I found out this week there was, I'm going to tell it again. So there's this scientific panel, and they create these 2 separate rooms next to one another, one-way mirrors. The scientists are on the other side, and they take both rooms and they put a huge pile of horse poop in each room. And they get 2 different children, and they bring one child into each room. And there's this giant pile of horse manure, and there's a variety of things. There's a chair and a shovel and a broom and, a couple of different things in the room. And in the first room, the one child just stands there and looks at this pile of smelly, disgusting poop and starts retching and screaming to get out the door and clawing at the door and desperately trying to get out. And the second child looks around for a minute, takes in the surroundings, makes sure they see everything that's in there, gets this aha look and runs over and grabs the shovel and starts feverishly digging at this pile of horse manure, going from one side to the other. Horse crap is flinging all over the room. He's covered in it, but he's got this giant smile on his face. And they come in and they say to him, okay, pause for a second. And they say, they had questioned the first one, and he said, it's just hopeless. It's a room, it's a pile of horse shit. Excuse me. What am I going to do with a pile of horse shit? And the second kid says, they said, what's got you so happy? What's got you so excited? And he says, with a pile of horse poop that big, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere. Now, the balance is not continuing to dig for the pony once you've realized it's not there. Leave the room and go find a pony if the pile of horse poop gave you the idea that there might be one, right? It's not that in every situation we're in, we're going to find the gold and the diamonds. There are some situations we will fall. And we will say, you know what? This didn't work. This one's not working for me. And I am smart enough and practical enough to know that this isn't what's going to work. So let me use what I've learned here to identify what can. When babies are learning to walk, they fall time and time and time again on their bottoms. Thank God for those puffy diapers, right? They fall on their bottoms, they fall on their face, and they keep getting up and they keep moving, like with Albert Einstein or Thomas Edison. Did I say to Albert Einstein before? I apologize. Thomas Edison. Wow, that was 5 minutes ago, and I'm gonna Thomas Edison. When we have the attitude, not a pie in the sky, fake attitude that everything's great, everything's fine, it doesn't matter what's going on. By the same token, we don't want to dig into the fear-mongering that we're seeing happening to those who really, really, really love it when we can't stand each other because we don't realize the reality of what's going on underneath when we're so busy fighting each other. If we can take a step back into Godness, ground ourselves in the reality that there will be falls, there will be climbs, there will be all of these different things, and that I dance freer when I stand in my Godness, knowing that God's got me. I don't need anybody else to hold on to me because I can navigate within the Godness. That doesn't mean somebody may not walk with me. That doesn't mean we may not have partners and lovers and friends and family and children and parents. What it means is that we know that their security, their ability to see the goodness does not mean ours. That we can choose to know that in order to take a fall or to take a walk, any of us, in any moment, every single day, in order to take your next step forward, you have to unbalance and fall. That's what walking is. It's falling and catching yourself over and over and over again. If we never lean off balance, we can't take the next step forward. And so it's important to know that we fall and we rise and we fall and we rise. It happens again and again and again. What are we doing to support ourselves in those falls? Where are we looking for a pony in a pile that, no, there's not going to be a pony in the middle of there because they would be suffocating? Where are we looking realistically at what is in front of us and our building blocks and what we can and will do? Or where are we looking realistically and watching the fear-mongering happening and saying, wait a second. Okay, so you can change laws. Okay, so you can do different things like that. And you know what? My life happens at this level. Person to person, interaction to interaction. You cannot legislate love. Oh, I know, you can legislate things around it and what you think people are allowed to do with it. But love is a primal impulse of Godness. It says grow, live, love, experience, grab on to life, and bring yourself forward. Unbalance, start to fall and realize that you have wings. Years ago, it's been a lot of years now, I went and I got a tattoo of a feather on my arm because I was having a time in my life where I was having some struggle. And I was having difficulty remembering on a day-to-day basis, look, I'm an intelligent person. I have gotten out of an awful lot of things in the past. I have grown, I have evolved, I have changed, and I was really kind of having difficulty remembering that day to day. Staying in contact with my Godness and rooted and grounded in it. Knowing that there was joy beyond the moment, that I wasn't so joyful. And so I was actually going up the stairs at my house, carrying a bowl of food, taco salad. It was lovely. Carrying this taco salad that I had, slaved over and made it just beautiful and all this kind of stuff. And going up the stairs, and I tripped on a stair and fell flat on my face on the stairs. And somehow in the fall, the salad slid out of my hand, went onto the stair above me, and landed perfectly fine. And I just turned around and sat on the stairs for a minute and laughed and felt like an idiot because I thought, who can't go upstairs holding a salad? And if you can't, you shouldn't hold the salad and go up the stairs. We need to be realistic about where we are. And I thought, wow, isn't that fascinating? Sometimes we think we're falling and really we're flying. Or really we're moving forward. So we're being projected forward when we think it's a fall. And so I went and I got a feather tattooed on my arm. So that when I felt like I was falling, and I felt like I had reached a certain age where I could decide to have a visible tattoo that was hard to cover. Because I have a bunch that you're not going to see. So anyway, maybe not a bunch. That might be too big of a word. I have a few. And I thought, you know what? I'm all grown up now, and I was in business for myself, and I thought I can get a tattoo that's visible. That way I can see it. I can look, and I can see that feather and remind myself that not only do I have wings of spirit, they are full color, beautiful things that I can count on. Well, I got the feather, and by the time I got home, I said, that looks weird all by itself on my arm. I think I need a wing. And as years went on, I started to mark different passages in my life with more feathers. And so I have, if you haven't seen it, but you probably have, I have a wing of feathers on my lower forearm. The last feather I got, which is a raven feather, in honor of my husband, who passed just about 4 years ago now. And that, I felt, completed that, because sometimes that fall, that thing that we fear the most, can be the thing that projects us forward to such a degree that we change and we grow and we move into new and different places and new and different things. Don't let the fear-mongers win. Don't let those who, hurt people hurt people. Right? Hurt people want people to hurt with them. And if those hurt people can have someone meet them with an open-hearted compassion to heal that hurt and not take it on and perpetuate it or be offended by it. If they can meet someone that says, I understand you're hurting, let me just be with you. And if you can't remember right now in your hurt that you have wings, let me just sit here in spirit with you and remind you that you do. If it can be met that way, people start to heal. And then they don't have to be hurt people going around hurting people. Now, not your job to fix or heal anybody. Let me relieve you of that burden right now if you think you have it. It is not our job to fix anyone outside of ourselves. Our job as evolving spiritual beings, if you want to call it a job, I think it's our vision and mission. It's our honor. It's our sacred duty, if you will, to go out and show God to people, not in a proselytizing way and ask them to come to my church. Although I'd love it if you asked people to come to our church, because we are practical spirituality, and we had to transfer some money this week from our investments into our working bank account because it's summer. And in summer, not as many people share as much money coming through the door. So that's back to our, do we have to have a crisis? Do I have to say to you, oh my gosh, we had to transfer money. Oh my gosh, I'm scared, I'm worried, I don't know what's happening. For people to say, you know what, maybe I can throw an extra $5 in there, or whatever it is. Maybe I can bring someone in to help because we are practical. This is a business. I stand up here every Sunday pouring my heart out and hoping to help. And I go to therapy. I know how expensive it is. So if this is at all therapeutic for you, help us keep our doors open. We're not in danger of closing them, and we have bills to pay. And if we want to be good, spiritual, and practical stewards, we have to have as much money walking in the door every week as it does walking out. And we've had 2 air conditioners. Gosh, what else? We've replaced 2 air conditioners. We've striped the parking lot so everybody can see where the parking spaces are. We've put out a whole bunch of money to do some improvements and some things that we just simply need. I don't think we'd have many of us in here if it was 85 degrees with us sitting in here. So, I mean, we spent, what was it, $8,000 on the last AC. And, so we've done a lot of these expenses. Thank you, God, we have had people in our administration who are smart enough, our church, who are smart enough on our board, in our financial committees, to invest money when we have gotten money so that we have investments that are gaining interest. So that if we have a time where it's like, whoop, this week, this month, we didn't have as much money coming in the doors as we had going out, we have a life vest that we can transfer some money over. And we can't do that every month. If we do it every month, we're starting to step out of authenticity with being good spiritual stewards with the money that we have and the trust that we have. And see, a lot of people are like, oh, we don't want the person on the platform to talk about money. Don't do that. Don't talk about money. I'm not saying to you, I need your money. Give me your money. Can't wait for the offering plate to be passed. Give us all your money. Well, I'm not saying that. And let's be practical. We live in this practical world, and we have bills to pay. I know this congregation because a couple times we have said we have someone who needs help doing something. Within 5 minutes, both times recently, we raised $1,000 in 5 minutes. It's amazing what we can do. So when we fall, when we feel like, I can tell you, I didn't sleep well last night. I was scared. I was thinking, is there something I'm not doing? Should I be doing more? Is there something we can do? What do I need to do to fix this? How do I fix it? Right? Fear-mongering. I was doing it to myself. Doesn't solve anything. Just puts me up here half slept. And we want to be practical about where we are. When we fall, we can get up. In order to move forward, we need to unbalance. Some of the best learning in my life, I don't know about you guys because I can only speak for me, some of the best learning and the biggest jumps up the stairs with my taco salad and evolution that I have made when I have had the most frightening or traumatic things happen in my life. They have propelled me forward to new places and spaces and realities and capabilities that I didn't think I had. When I was at the bottom of the staircase, I would have never thought I could balance a taco salad onto a stair ahead of me until it happened. So whether it's money, whether it's watching a political situation, a trash fire happening in our country right now, as far as people pointing fingers and screaming and running to condemn things, and people who are fighting for gun rights and to not have gun violence, saying horrible things because a man they didn't agree with was killed by a gun. What are we doing when we do that? Who are we when we do that? We are God in skin. We celebrate and move forward into the goodness and the godness and the love, and we blanket it all in love. And we know, like we were having a conversation this morning before this, Mel and Mo, and some of us were having this conversation of, we are all these whole beings. We are full of beautiful, wonderful things and deep, dark, ugly secrets and mistakes we hope no one ever knows we made, and wonderful, beautiful, loving, embracing words and prejudices and wounds. We're full of all of these things. We are all these beautiful, flawed, complex beings. I would encourage you this week. I guess I didn't do anything with this. Who cares? Okay. I would encourage you. This is a great book. Richard Rohr, Falling Upward. If you haven't read it, I highly suggest that you read it. I'm not going to touch on it today because I've already gone over. But if you are out there this week, and if you're feeling fearful, and if you're feeling worried that you don't have enough money for something, or that someone has a new law passed, and so you are in more danger today than you were last week, or if there's something that is pushing you into a fall, our homework this week is to stand in that moment, get in touch with what it is that we're feeling, to know where we're at, to separate fact from fiction, to separate fact from fear-mongering, to take a very realistic look at what we are using to support ourselves, to wonder and inquire and make sure that what we are using to support ourselves is also supporting us back. And if it is, let's be such proponents for those things that we love. Let's walk through a Publix or an Aldi this week, and if we're wondering, well, is that person looking at me like they don't like me? Or did I see someone with a certain political party sticker get out of their car and now I'm glaring at them while they're going through the aisles? I guarantee you, if we reach across political divides, if we take those labels and stickers off of things and meet people one-on-one, person to person, we will love every one of them. And when we can meet with love, when we can roll down those divisions, then every single fall will help us try our wings, and we will soar on godness over and over and over again. And if you, like me, need a visual, tangible thing that tells you that you have those wings, that you are the love and light and presence and power of God. If you need something to remind you, you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars and sit getting tattoos done. I have feathers for you. So if you'd like to take a feather, you are welcome to take a feather. We have varying sizes and we have gold and silver. Whether you're a gold or silver person, just know that at the level of spirit, everyone is made of God's stuff. Some of us just buy into those divisions more than others. Some of us buy into our fears and insecurities more than others, and hurt people may hurt people. But healed people heal people. Not because they set out to fix them, but because they love them unconditionally and give them room to fix themselves. So let us fall and let us fly. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Please visit www.unityofsebring.org for more information, to submit a prayer request, or to donate to our ministry. We hope to see you again very soon.